Women spoke to Gaza. Women spoke to Gaza. This time, we only had women on board. Women in solidarity with the women and children and men of Gaza and the plight that they have, the horrific conditions that they're living under. And we thought, as women, that we would sail. So we had a woman captain. Her name was Madeline Habib, a captain named Habib, a captain whose father was from Egypt, her mother from the UK. She is a very, very well-known captain. In fact, you can Google her name, and she has been the captain of very large ships, to include large ships who have gone into the Mediterranean to help rescue the migrants that are coming up out of North Africa. We had women crew members from Norway and Sweden, and then on board the boat as passengers, we had a doctor from Malaysia. We had a member of parliament from New Zealand, a member of parliament from Algeria. We had a South African Olympic personality, or not personality, an Olympic athlete. We had a professional photographer from Spain. We had a Nobel Peace Laureate from Northern Ireland, Marie Maguire. We had a wonderful group, 13 women from 13 different nations. We're on the final leg of this epic journey. It was 1,715 miles from Barcelona, Spain, to Ajaccio, Corsica, France. From France down to Messina, Sicily, Italy. And then 1,000 miles from Sicily on down to 34 miles off the coast of Gaza in international waters, where on October 5th, the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, stopped our boat named Zaytuna. How many of you all speak Arabic? A couple of you do. Zaytuna means olive. Olive. It was named specifically for the remarkable, remarkable olive trees that grow all over the Middle East, but particularly in Palestine, where individual olive trees, their history can be traced back hundreds of years, if not really thousands of years. And many of those olive trees now are being uprooted purposely by Israeli settlers and burned as the Israeli settlers take over parts of the West Bank. Now, you know, the West Bank and Gaza, which in 1948, at the creation of the State of Israel, Israel had 51% of what was called the old Palestine Mandate, and the Palestinians got 49% of it. Now that 49% has really dropped down to about 25% because of the illegal Israeli settlements that are now in the West Bank. So we named that boat for the wonderful, wonderful olive trees that have been a part of the foundation of the economy of that area. So the Zaytuna. It was the Zaytuna that we took that last 1,000 miles on down to the coast of Gaza. And on October 5th, the IDF stopped us 35 miles off, or 34 miles off the coast of Gaza in international waters. They took our boat. They kidnapped us on the high seas. They took us against our will to the port of Ashdod in Israel. They charged us with entering Israel illegally. And we said to the interrogators, we did not want to come here. We did not want to enter your country at all. We were on a mission to go to Gaza to break your illegal siege of Gaza. Well, that did not deter them from eventually deporting us. We did get to see our lawyers and our diplomatic representatives before we were unceremoniously deported from the State of Israel for what we had done. The deportation is for 10 years. This is the second time I've been deported, so now I have a 20-year deportation. But I'm not the only one. Marie Maguire, Nobel Peace Laureate from Northern Ireland, she's been deported for 40 years. And proudly. I mean, other than the fact I do want to go to Israel. I want to go to Israel. I want to talk to people in Israel. And I also want to go to the West Bank. I want to see what's going on in the West Bank with my own eyes. How many of you all have traveled to Israel or the West Bank? Well, not too many. Wow. Well, let me tell you, it is a trip we all should take. We really should, because it is important that you view with your own eyes what's going on. It's important that you see what a lot of very good-hearted Israelis are dealing with. There are a lot of Israelis that do not like at all the policies of their own country, of their own government, and the treatment of Palestinians. And they, like many of us here in our own country, they don't feel like they're getting a fair shake, that their voices are not being heard, that they're being silenced by their own government, similar to what's happening to us. It's important to go there in solidarity with those people who want their policies of the government to change. And it's important to go to the West Bank, to be there in solidarity with men and women every single day that are living under such oppression by the IDF, on the checkpoints, the apartheid walls, the illegal settlements. So we do have a lot of travel we can do. That it is important that we as Americans not isolate ourselves, that we get out and see what our policies are doing. And our policies on Israel-Palestine are the total support for the state of Israel no matter what it does. It's been the policy of the United States for decades that we protect the Israeli government. And yet the rest of the world goes, why in the world are you, the American government, doing this? I mean, why don't you at least have balanced policies? Why do you always protect whatever Israel does? Well, I was a diplomat for 16 years. And there was not a cogent answer that I could give, as I was asked that question in every country I served with, whether it was in Nicaragua, Grenada, Somalia, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Sierra Leone, Micronesia, Afghanistan, or Mongolia. Those are the countries I served in as a diplomat. And I could not come up with any other answer than it's just the policy. It isn't right, it's unbalanced, but that's the policy. And the policy is because the supporters of the state of Israel here in our own country, whether they be Zionist, whether they be of the Jewish faith, whether they be of the Christian faith, that support the state of Israel no matter what it does. These are the things that we need to really be pushing on, to show to the state of Israel and our own government that we do not agree with it. We don't agree with the $38 billion we've just given to the state of Israel, which is really blood money. This money will be used to kill Palestinians. That's really what it's all about. $38 billion, the largest aid program in the history of our country, goes to the state of Israel. So these are things that we can work with, that we will need to continue. It's not a new day under the Trump administration. It's going to be the same continuation of this. So we've got a lot of hard work for us to do. And the same way, the hard work of challenging the U.S. militarism that's going on throughout the world, whether it's in Asia and Northeast Asia and South Korea, where the largest U.S. military exercises ever in the history of the U.S. and South Korean relations since World War II, the largest military exercises were this last summer, right on the DMZ. Do you know what they were called, these exercises? They were called decapitation. So could there be a reason why Kim Il-sung has these nuclear weapons? That he knows it is a goal of the United States for the overthrow of the government of North Korea. And so he says, and I've been to North Korea. I was there last year with a group called Women Cross the DMZ. 30 women, to include 2 Nobel Peace Laureates this time, Marie McGuire and LeMay Gobi from Liberia. And we went there with the